And,
yeah. So one of the other outcomes, I know you wanted to set up a charity for this as well, didn't you?
Yeah, the documentary, as it's grown, as it's evolved, I had the idea because I was very disappointed by the fact that people who are in the 7/7 community who are suffering as a result of it. I'll give you examples. It's going to be people who survived the bombings with injuries, physical, mental. Some people suffering serious trauma just from what they've seen. Post-traumatic stress.
Oh yeah. People are still suffering from that in America from Vietnam, and look how many decades ago that was.
Exactly. Yeah. You've also got the victims. That's specifically the people who died. I'm referring to their families and friends. They're all left to their own devices. They were given support for a while. I know money can't ever bring them back, but these people still have to carry on living a normal life in this world. And for that, they're going to need to be financially stable.
Do you think that they're getting, these victims, I'm sure a lot of the victims that died in the bombing were parents, and they've got children.
Exactly.
Yeah? What about them? Do you think that these children are getting the support from the, relevant authorities?
No, that's basically what I was going to build towards, that. I don't know the exact figures, but from my understanding, I may be a bit wrong, but I'll be in the right ballpark figure, I guess. It was up to £11,000 for a victim that was given to a family, and that was if it was a breadwinner.
Hold on. £11,000?
Yes.
So you're saying that if a parent died in that bombing, the authorities would pay out £11,000 to the family of that parent?
That's my understanding. I'm not exact on the figure.
Fine.
But that is the approximate ballpark figure. It was £11,000.
So what's that going to do to? How's that going to look after a family, or how long is that going to last looking after a couple of children at today's prices?
It wouldn't.
Exactly. So that's a purpose. That's one of the key purposes of your charity that you set up. Right.
People have lost limbs. They're paid out as well. You can imagine how they'll be physically and mentally suffering.
Yeah, how are they meant to work if they haven't got a leg or an arm, or they've lost?
They probably wouldn't be able to. And they've had payouts as well, but the payouts may well only cover some adjustments in their lives. It's not going to cover their lives. It's going to. These people who are completely innocent will be seriously struggling. They're not being very well looked after anymore. What I want to set up, my intention is to set up a charity, a foundation. I don't know the exact way it's done, but that's what this is all building towards, is to build up this charity which will assist them to their needs as they need them. For an example, say if a parent has died and the child later wants to go to university but can't afford to, we can assist to pay to send them to university.
Wow.
Entrance fees, accommodation, books, these kind of expenses that their parents, that their mum or dad might have covered. Someone who's maybe seriously injured and needs some operation, which is going to have a long waiting list on the NHS, maybe we can help to get them private medical care, so it's immediate. Maybe someone who needs counselling and on a long waiting list, maybe we can get them a private counsellor and pay for it. It's going to be on an individual basis. That's what the idea is. And the documentary hopefully would be able to fund that charity.
Now, this really was a very big task. I mean, you didn't expect in any way that it was going to grow to the size and magnitude that it has. And a lot of people are involved. How did you bring this all together?
Very unusually. I had the idea of a documentary. My brother was going to help me with it, but he had too many of his own work commitments and he dropped out. So I just mentioned to someone about my documentary, and he so happened to know a documentary filmmaker. He told her about the project. Her name is Rabia Bushiba. She really appreciated and understood it straight away. We met up, explained it to her, And it just started evolving from there. She really, really got it. Both of us started networking through friends. She managed to locate a pair of lads up in Norwich, which is where Benedetta was living at the time when she was killed. She travelled down from Norwich to Liverpool Street and got on the train. Coincidentally, they lived very close to where she lived. They're from a company, the independent film company called Gentleman's Agreement. The cameraman, his name is George Leader, and the sound engineer is James Phillips. They both got on board, and they just wanted to do the documentary as well. They really got it. They travelled down from Norwich regularly, everyone working for free.
Wow, Norwich is far as well.
Yeah, it is.
And it's all for free. This is all non-for-profit.
Non-profit. There's no money at all. We're making no money at all through this. It's not a charity yet either. And it didn't only stop there. A lady called Ingen Olsen, she's an editor for film and video. She got on board. She found out about the project.
Wow.
And she's been editing the whole movie for free.
Wow.
Everyone working around the clock. And it's just been an amazing community spirit. I needed to raise a film budget, and I've literally just told people about the documentary, and people have just given money just to make it a possibility of being alive, being something that's real by July the 7th. It allowed us to travel to Rome, travel around London, to film. People out the goodness of their hearts have just helped us along the way. It has been a real adventure making this documentary, not only for me, but for those who've never been affected by 7/7. I've seen tears in their eyes whilst we've been filming the documentary. It's been moving for everybody involved, and they have actually got attached to Benedetta, being total strangers, and you can see it in their eyes. They do understand from making this documentary.
Very powerful.
Very powerful.
Very, very powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Raj, the documentary is not even complete yet, and it's already beginning to have an effect, isn't it?
Yeah. There's one thing in particular that really remains in my mind is when the community heard about it, I told them about the project. There's a lady called Elaine Young. She's completely stayed out of anything 7/7 related. She doesn't even look at the newspapers. She completely pretends it didn't happen. She's avoided counselling. She had a little bit, she said, but now she's on a waiting list. She's been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and she's told me she's been waiting about 8 months just to see on the NHS a doctor to assess if she's eligible for counselling.
Oh my gosh. 8 months.
8 months, yeah. 8 months, and that's only for an assessment, see if she's eligible. But she heard about the project, and she was so moved by what we were making, she decided just for this project to come out of her shell and for the first time speak about what she has seen, her experience, and she just provided us with an interview. She allowed us to get close to herself, and after the interview, she sent me a message saying she cried. She was so relieved to have got that off her chest, and she was very moved and grateful for being able to take part in this documentary.
Wow. Raj, I've got the utmost respect for what you've done so far and for what you're doing. I'd really like to see this get through to completion. You've taken on a mammoth task here, and I just would like to just wish you the very best.